All right, we're good now. I love having you as my double. It's awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. So you know, I'm not going to control your desktop. We're not doing that. All right. So welcome everybody. Thank you for joining in. I was just going to say to Hajimu that it is November 8th, if I'm correct, and we have had another mass shooting in the United States, in California, and I think unfortunately does really fit in with the theme of this particular set of snake templates, which has to do with sovereignty, and that's a big topic. And I think it's very, very energized, both energized and polarized, in at least in America right now. That notion of who's sovereign and who's on top, and there's the old story of monarchy and sovereignty being fused, and someone else being very much in control of your fate, ostensibly in a life, or having a lot of control of what over activities of daily life. And then there's the energy of brutality, because the old 3D construct notion was to remain sovereign requires domination. And in most instances, domination does, it's associated with some form of brutality. And brutality can take many forms. So we have that part of the template. And I'm so I'm looking at what's the fulcrum. You know, there's a way that this can go. Is sudden death the fulcrum? Or is sovereignty the fulcrum between brutality and sudden death? What's going on with this template? Because where's the balancing energy here? I think sometimes it's shifting around so much, the moving pieces. I do think we want to get to the place where sovereignty does become our balancing fulcrum. We're self-sovereign. And then we are able to see the third way between the expression of brutality and the any association with sudden death of any kind. So I wanted to talk about this template tonight. Those of you who are in the Jedi training understand that I have we don't know for sure. We won't know for sure. Nobody's going to know for 100% certain. None of us know what's going to happen. But there's a general sense in the collective that we're coming to some kind of determining moments in time, maybe determining events. Some of us have a sense of two very different scripts running. One is running away with the planet, and it's going. And then the other timeline is just really, for me, it's about holding steady from the fulcrum of feeling sovereign in yourself, whatever that timeline is. Because if we're in that position, we can roll with that timeline and allow it to unfold, and just keep balancing our own personal energy between the dynamics of brutality, which we're likely to see unfolding around us as we're learning how to change our angular rotation of particle spin. Let me hear a shout out for that. What's the acronym for that? Angular rotation of particle spin. ARPS, ARPF. Let's hear it for our ARPs. Woohoo! Not harps, ARPs. Okay, so I am very happy to be able to share that I don't have a lot of memory now or emotional response or like there's no sticky for this and for me with this. There's no sticky. And yet I will share with you that I think this work with the emotions, with the templates and identifying them as snake energy, this is probably one of the most important pieces of work that I've ever come out with, because it is so relevant and it is so particularly personal, and it is so liberating to understand what that is, and to just, as the templates are managed and you're clearing out your quanta, it's just going away. And there's less and less that we actually have to do, except, as Liz described, I just notice it and I relaxed with it, I'm accepting, and I feel that I'm integrating some part of myself that I need to just kind of hold the space for. And we can see that the change is just happening on its own. And I hope that you also can share that things are moving much more gently as you are becoming your own fulcrum, your own sovereign fulcrum in your intention and what you're experiencing day to day. So having said all that, I think we all have had perceptions and things that are coming up. They can be subtle or not so subtle, but we can look at where are we in the fulcrum of our sovereignty right now, just as we are right now, and are we being kinder? Are we being kinder to ourselves? Just making that choice every day is a dissolution of a kind of brutality. Many of us have been schooled in being unkind to ourselves. A lot of different ways. So that's a point of conversation. And we could talk about what our perceptions are, what are the unknowns of sudden death. What do we think about death, whether sudden or not? And are we able to begin to have a sense through the work that we're doing of we'll be able to carry our sovereign sense of self in our consciousness no matter what form we are experiencing our consciousness in? Because, I mean, at some point, could be 2,000 years from now, you'd probably say, you know what? This was good. I liked it a lot. I'm ready for a change. So it could be a voluntary achievement. And I do think we want to look at the issue of with sovereignty and brutality and sudden death. Where does escapism come in? Where does fantasy come in? Where do we sort of turn away from looking straight ahead at life as we know it, at least for right now? And in this turn of events, in the United States. I think that sudden death has been brought in to be some kind of weird fulcrum between sovereignty and brutality, because I view these events of yesterday, I guess it is, or I feel they're connected. I think it's part of political sleight of hand. I think that it's a way to distract attention from those who would be sovereign in the United States, and who will seek to achieve that sovereignty through brutality. So I'm going to open it up for conversation there and let you guys chime in. Heavy, I'm sorry. One of these days we're gonna get on here. We're gonna talk about Mickey Mouse. Liz.
One thing I think about 9/11, because if we could, what about exposing the story? Because it's like a cancer that grows when it remains that story. I just think if 9/11 were resolved, and there's so much information, if the general public could not carry that story, that would have a wonderful impact on us. I don't know. So that's brutality.
For sure.
And sovereignty. And I watched an incredible documentary on Bill Binney. It's called A Good American, and it was unbelievable, really unbelievable. So I still have faith that these stories are going to be broken open like an egg for everyone. But
thank you. I would respond to that, Liz. And Jerry, you're going to like this, because we are going to make sure we turn you loose with timelines, but we're not going to do it till you can do that safely. Okay? And it is a process, and you can step by step practice. But when I think of the concept of conscious co-creation, and I apply it to what you're saying about 9/11, Liz, it would be a really empowering act of co-creation to have a group of people commit to a small action, maybe 10 minutes a day for a while, and to set their intention on healing that timeline in truth, transparency, and trust, and imagining that unfolding at a cellular level, because it impacted people at a cellular level. We are still breathing in the molecules of all that was discreated that day. We are still breathing that in. And I remember very shortly after it happened, my younger son was attending NYU, and he was there. He was unbelievably terrified. And when we talked, I had this anguish of knowing he was breathing that in, and that was going to become part of his cellular memory. And I think that's a beautiful group healing project, Liz. So, maybe that's something we can bring in to conscious co-creators and invite people to. It's 10 minutes a day. Give them a little something to focus on. that would include healing that timeline. So that's a very good thought. Jerry, you've unmuted yourself, so I'm figuring you want to speak.
Oh, no, I was just going to say that I'm not going to be doing any experimenting with closing down timelines or anything like that. I am curious about them, and there is one timeline that I have tried to close down, and Cynthia had given me some tips on that in our sessions. And I think that I've had some relief from the pain of that timeline. I can view the incident now without it being so excruciatingly painful. I'm more detached from it, and I can look at it from a loving standpoint rather than a very painful one. But I'm not going to go experimenting. So I just wanted to reassure you and Cynthia that I don't consider myself adept enough to, get into anything where I'm not really sure of what I'm doing. I mean, I do understand how powerful working with energy is, and I don't want to bring any unforeseen, I can't think of the word I want to use, but any unforeseen experiences, feelings. I don't want to open any doors that shouldn't be open, or close any maybe that maybe shouldn't be closed yet. So.
Thank you for being willing to proceed with caution.
Oh, yeah.
We have had a kind of an interesting, we can't call it a training, but it has kind of been a training. And as some of us have remembered what's involved in the timeline adjustment process, but we've done it in group. We've done it in a kind of a soft, connected community. So if I've done it, then Anastasia's done it, then Cynthia's done it, or I can be going through it and I can call Anastasia and I can call Cynthia, and we can resonate off of each other and provide support. Because as we've gone through the science and education of what conscious co-creation is, we understand that part of our transition really had to shift into the space where we were asking. We weren't deciding. We weren't taking matters into our own hands,
Yeah.
and having an agenda that was willful. And that's one of the key things about the training that comes from within and the support from your community. It's having a process that's repeatable, which we have. It's having tools to assist, which we do. The Essence 1111 is very helpful when you've navigated and negotiated and asked to change a timeline. It's very helpful. The essence of changing the timeline came through because I was holding the frequency of what it is to do that. what the experience is and what it's based on, and some of what the process is. So we've got to remember when we're doing our work to always just take a breath and remind ourselves to go back to the touchstones. And in our case, one of our major touchstones has been, there have been two. The first one for me was the Sacred Master Key, which was introduced to me. I was given that technique in 2016. And then later in that year, in the fall of that year, Science of Conscious Co-Creation became available as an educational, this is how you do it. So I think one of the things that Anastasia and Cynthia and I have is we have, a really kind of bonded agreement where we know where we are in our journey, and we communicate and we share and we check in and we remind ourselves what our safe, we had even had safe words at one point when we were in Scotland. What is our safe way of approaching that kind of really powerful co-creation? Because it's incredibly powerful. And the difference between being a conscious co-creator and being an evil warlord wizard is knowing what's what. And so we have touchstones, and we can remind each other, and we can be looking out for each other and kind of making sure we're okay. And that's part of what gets offered in the 3D construct, and it's what gets offered in conscious co-creation. And now Anastasia and I are going to be doing a webinar around conscious conception, and we'll be applying the same principles on how to do this with impeccability, with power, with sensitivity, with vulnerability. We're going to need number 4. So this is an exquisite journey that we're on. It is exquisite. It's exquisite. And we've been able to sort of be embraced in this kind of exquisite flow. Part of it was a gift, and part of it was a gift we gave to ourselves, and a gift we gave to each other, and a gift we gave to the planet. And it's kind of a gift that just keeps on giving. And through that, we're in a kind of living experience of the energy dynamics, the flow that I feel come from Source. They're always being refreshed and renewed. And it's one way that you can sort of sense where you are as you're choosing to become who you would like to be, is that sense of renewal. And it's just there. And there's a moment where you can feel that you've stretched, you've grown, you've relaxed, you've cleared, you've had some insights. You are feeling your personal sovereignty. You have become nicer to yourself. Yes. In my case, I became somewhat nicer to other people. And truth. And you're allowing that renewal as well. It's just a flow. It's beautiful. It's exquisite. And you know when you're messing it up. You can tell. Now, whether or not you can stop yourself from messing it up, who knows? But you can feel it when you're doing it. And so at least you know. So hang in there, Jerry. Hang in there. Just hang in there. It's going to come. 2 years ago, I was not consciously aware of some of the skills that I, in this intervening 2 years, have remembered. And that's part of, I think, what we all have to look forward to. So,
Yeah.
And it's going to show up as your gift. If that's meant for you, it's going to show up for you. And you'll also know that. And you'll know. You'll go, whoa! It's not happening to me. Yeah, whoa! It's great stuff. All right. Anastasia, how are you doing?
Hi. Had to find the unmute. I'm good. I'm working on the conscious conception class. So, yeah.
Tomorrow is Friday. I am actually going to need that bit of information from you so I can actually finish these slides up for Saturday, please.
Yeah.
Sunday, please. Sometime I gotta whoa.
I know, it's got to be seen. I didn't realize there was anyway, sorry about that.
Okay. I mean, there's a rushing river of information.
There is. It's been a rushing river here for sure.
Thank you for remembering. And
thank you for reminding me.
I'm actually very excited about this because in this last week, there are integrations and synthesis, whatever the plural of synthesis is. Synthesize, I don't think so. But anyway, there's, as we're coming out of the construct and we are co-creating and we are sorting through our quanta and we're hanging on to our arcs, there's synthesis and integration. And Jerry, I think you've been through some of that since the workshop here. And I think, Liz, you have been too. I know I have quite a bit of integration. All right, so Anastasia's integrating around conscious conception. What else is going on, Anastasia?
Well, it's a lot. I mean, we're working on the essences. So that's been some really exciting science, really, in that. And so I've been super excited about that, and having to move myself almost completely from one subject to another, which has been really fun and challenging, and trying to make time for everything. So, but it's all so fascinating.
I agree.
Yeah. So I'm getting excited for our upcoming journey to go deeper with that.
We're about to launch ourselves onto a new timeline. We really are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Anastasia and I are. Cynthia's going to hold the fort.
Yeah, and then she'll get the wave after that. Yeah.
But we are consciously co-creating a new timeline. Very exciting. There'll be an email about it in another few days, but I feel we are moving with the synthesis and integration. We've come out of 3D and we're now into this space where we have a little breathing room and we can feel what's fascinating, what's interesting, what do we really don't want to do anymore? Really, like, I really don't want to do that anymore. I
Right.
just don't. Like, I can pretty much promise you that I am never going to cook another pork roast. I think really I'm done, right? So we're feeling like done dusted. I don't want to do that anymore on a lot of levels. And part of, sometimes that can come on as a sudden death. Like, bam. Hopefully you're in gentle mode right now. But we're going to launch ourselves into a new timeline.
Yeah, that is interesting. The sudden stopping of something, where it just completely comes to an end, and it's from this space, it's actually been pretty with ease, where you think something is going to be really difficult to give up. Maybe something like for me, I ate a lot of chocolate. Cynthia knows. And I just like one day I was like, I don't even feel like I just don't care. So it was just like done. So it wasn't hard. And it wasn't a problem really either for me, but who knows? I wanted to see what it was like not doing it. So
I wanted to see what it was like not cooking a pork roast.
Yeah.
And lightening up my diet and still carrying all the frequencies of all of it. So I've got the full range. And should I decide I want to partake of chocolate or a pulled pork sandwich, I'm going to be fine.
Exactly. Yeah.
Awesome. I'm going to see you in another week. Oh my goodness. That's going to be fun. How many of you are feeling like you're really starting to you're kind of sitting in the saddle of, I'm just going to be nicer to myself? You raise your hand. Yeah, just going to be nicer. That can take a lot of different forms.
I was just thinking that.
Yeah. So it's the feeling in your body when you're aware that you're doing it. I'm grappling. Chocolate for you, Anastasia. Coffee for me. It's like I've suddenly become allergic to it.
Oh.
And I'm using organic coffee. But I think that it is like chocolate. I think it is a Shona Light product because so much happened on coffee and tea, and even the making of chocolate had to do with brutality and slavery. And I think that some of us, our bodies are just saying, no, you don't want that energy. It's non-sovereign energy. You don't want it in you. But I haven't found, I can't, yerba mata isn't doing it for me, but
Yeah, that's an interesting way to look at it in terms of agreements we're making.
Yeah.
And, there is a lot of forms of it now where people are being a lot more conscious of it, how it's developed, how it's brought to us.
I think that's true for now, but I think some of us who are very old souls with very old genetic memory, who may have been in the brutality, sovereignty, sudden death dynamic around some of these food products like chocolate or coffee or sugar.
Sugar is a big one.
I gave it up entirely 3 years ago. It was big. My body was like, you cannot do this anymore. And so I think it does have to do with our awakening genetics. Those of us who are old souls are like, this is a layer of false light, shone a light, dead light that we've ingested for way too long. And this is the opportunity now to get this out of yourselves. So I'm just offering that as a perspective.
Yeah, that's a really good way to put it.
Yeah, I feel that way too. I enjoyed sugar so much. As a child, you know, I remember dumping it on my Cheerios and the bananas on top. Oh man, I loved it. And there, at some point, I became allergic to sugar.
Me too.
What it actually did in my body, and the same thing happened with coffee. And I have remembered, you know, a life as a slave on a sugar plantation. And the same thing happened with coffee. And I even bought some raw cacao, you know, powder, thinking I would use it. And it sat there and sat there and sat there and sat there and sat there. And I don't even know if I'm ever going to get to it.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
It is.
And that perspective is, I really feel that. I resonate with it. Of the connection, the energetic, the frequency that
the frequency of it that it's carrying. Yeah. Yeah. It's so much about frequency now. Whoa, it's really about frequency.
Mm-hmm.
So that you wouldn't think necessarily that would tie in to snake energy, but it does. It does, around the sovereignty, brutality, sudden death that has gone on as people were used and conditioned and then used. Conditioned to want the poison, and then conditioned to produce the poison. And in that, there's no place for sovereignty.
Mm.
There's no experience of sovereignty there, because someone else has conditioned you to want that sugar, and someone else forced you to grow that sugar, and they didn't do the work. They just made the money.
Mm-hmm.
So I do think that our cells, our bodies are like, frequency, that's a frequency that we can't, we gotta, that can't be a predominant frequency now in what's going on here. And I think it really does contribute to consciousness in ways that we probably don't even recognize it. Still drinking apple cider though. All right, so we've established that we're being kinder to ourselves. We're sitting in our centers of sovereignty, and we're recognizing that there are maybe not sudden, but sort of surprising deaths of habits and deaths of giving up our conditioning around things like food products. And I think that we also, with these 3 templates, this energy is very much connected to shadow. to our shadow energy, and the opportunity for us to really embrace that and transform that and see it and feel it, and to do the work to let that go. Not as a rejection, but simply like you let go of chocolate, or like I'm letting go of coffee. It's just not working anymore. Okay, so does anyone else have any? Oh, gosh, this has been some week, I'll tell you what. Whoa. Anastasia, I have one more test to take.
Oh my gosh, that's a lot of work there.
Yeah. One more. I think I'll knock it out tomorrow.
Amazing.
Anastasia and I are going to be moving into a new modality together that has to do with really new paradigm health and wellness care that's going to really merge the essences with a form of technology, pretty soft, that creates a functional bridge for people who are just ready to understand the energy field and their bodies in relationship to the energy field, but wouldn't go to a hands-on healer, because that's just but there's another place where they can bring the impulse to do something different, but that feels more real to them. And that's it. So we're going off to do a training in that. And then it's exciting because there will be people that I will be able to connect with, such as dancers or tennis players or runners, joggers, people who are engaging in sports where they may inadvertently hurt themselves. But I'll also be able to work with people who are working with chronic issues. Liz, I just want to tell you, I'm going to be working with Lyme's disease. I'm going to be really focused on that because that's really hurting a lot of people. And
Did you know that recently they've determined it's sexually transmitted now?
Of course it is.
Yeah.
Well, it's deer syphilis. But, I think everybody's got spirochetes if you want to know the difference. And it's up to your energy, your immune system. But that's a real important one.
Yes, it is.
I've been where I can't get out of bed for 3 days just to go to the doctor.
Yes. Yeah. So I know I'm going to be focusing on that because I think that there's a way to move into breakthrough there. And I will be putting my heart into that and asking that maybe we can come to breakthrough in ways that can really help people. So very excited. And I'm thinking of all the things I really want to have done by Sunday night. So Monday I can okay, what do I have to do to pack and have a little breathing room there. But this is real. Anastasia, high five.
Virtual high five.
Virtual high five.
Yeah.
So we're excited.
Yeah.
Has anyone had any? I don't even have any past life stuff coming up anymore. I have some present life stuff, but the way that it's being presented is gentle It may show up as part of my morning meditation. Interesting things have been coming up when I go and sit out in the portal and just let that information flow through. Jerry, are you having any more snaky stuff come up? Because, girl, they were working you. They've been working you.
Uh, uh, I don't know if I've really gotten rid of them or if they're just kind of hiding, but I haven't had anything come up lately, thank goodness. So I don't know if this might be the calm before the storm and maybe I have one last battle, or maybe I've actually been able to. I don't know, do we ever really
Yes, we do.
have them eventually?
Yes, we do.
I think I must have more battles then, because this would have been almost too easy.
No, because you have the energy of a collective behind you now, which makes it easier
Oh.
for everybody.
Okay.
You're not doing it by yourself.
Okay. Well, I'll keep my fingers crossed. But what I thought was really so strange was when I was leaving Philly, I saw that snake right by my foot.
Uh-huh.
But since then, I don't think I've, it's hard to remember actually in chronological order I don't think I've had any since I came back from Philly.
Okay. Well, interestingly, because I'm going to let you guys know, I'm going to do Jedi workshop again. I'm already preparing what the information, I mean, like this first time, it's just like, go do it. And I'm like, so I'm preparing and I'm organizing, and one of the things that I discovered, and I've gone through what I'm now calling the Guardian material as presented by Ashayana Dean. I've gone through it with such fine-tooth combs. And one of the things that really did show up was that she doesn't have a strong part of the information that's presented as the emotional body, and how the emotional body has been juxtaposed to the mental body, and that our mental bodies have actually become vehicles to create and sustain the emotional pain body. There's nothing there. And so as I've been going through the material and really looking at it, is like, well, this is something that we can do in a very joyful group process, and we don't have to have a piece of the puzzle missing. So I am going to do a Jedi. I hope you'll come again. Liz, if you come early, if you give me an hour's notice, I might let you in. No promises, but I might, right? Hopefully maybe you guys will consider coming again, and this time though for maybe 2 days or even 3 days for pretty much the same price, so that we can go and you can really know what it is you're doing. And why is this necessary? The reason that I wanted to talk about sudden death is because I mean, I would love to just ascend. I really would. I love the idea of I'm just going to ascend and I'm going to look just like this in inner earth. I'll look just like this. Maybe I'll be, I don't know, maybe I'll change my hair color, but probably not, right? So I'm like, okay, I'm going to ascend and I'm going to go into inner earth and it's all going to be good, and I'm going to be able to bring my physical body, and I'm not going to have to bardo out, which means drop the physical body, go in spirit to one of those train platforms. People are milling around at the train station. and then you get to where you need to go without your physical body. Now that's totally fine. And so part of us really, at the same time, we need to embrace the reality that we're eternal beings. I think it's really wise and mature to say, yeah, this is the last Earth Ascension cycle. We're probably going to get out this time. Thank God I'm not going down the black hole. That's good. But am I going to get to go with this body? And so what I want us all to be able to gracefully entertain is, can we get comfortable and feel ready to just let go of these physical bodies like we take off our shoes at night? Like it's just not a big deal. And we can feel safe with that. And I think in this next year, we may find ourselves in energetic processes that invite us to really open up our biology, really open up our energy fields. I think that the small changes that we make, like you're making, Anastasia, with no chocolate, and Cynthia with no sugar, and me with no meat, and we're sorting out our quanta, and we're letting go of the dead light. We are actually going to be less dense physically, especially if we're doing this, because we'll be in the energy flow that moves up and comes back down, and moves up and comes back down, and it's not Kundalini.
Right.
Okay, right. So when I go and sit in the portal, the first couple times, I was like, oh, I get what this is. Like 150 people from my neighborhood. If something happens, like maybe they would all just show up, and I would be their guide, and I would say, okay, everybody just lie down on the grass and relax, right? And whatever's going to happen in the next whatever, we're going to go through it together. And I don't know how it's going to transpire, but something is going to transpire. We're at the end. We're done here. We're done here this way. So as we're in 5D, and then there's the leap 60, 70, and then there's 4 and 8D are like neutral zones. And then there's 9, 10, 11. And then where we're going is to the top of our vibratory expression resonance scale, primal light, primal sound. And we are returning to source. That's just what we're doing. That's what this deal is right now. Now, whether we return to source on the Concorde, or whether we return to source on the year-long cruise around the world, making lots of stops, and that's a matter of personal choice. But I think it is a really, really wonderful gift of kindness to yourself to feel your way through. Are you prepared to be alive differently? And what might that be like? And how do I feel about that? Do I think it might be really cool? Or do I think I'm going to remain in separation and I'll be all by myself? Or am I going to the freaking garden party of the, like a billion years of like gathering where everybody is excited and celebrating and probably levitating, right? So I'm just saying, because I don't think, wow, it's not very different. It's way faster, and we really are needing to practice how we think and what we think, because it gets so fast that if your thoughts are all over the place, you're going to be blazing trails between dimensions, and you're going to be like, whoa, horsey. It's just so in the next years, we're coming into 2019. This is another place where we can grow and grow together and grow in community, and not from a place of fear, but more from a place of wonder, and not that we have to do anything. We don't. It's going to be handled for us. So I think in that light, it's a wonderful time to practice how we hold ourselves in relationship. Very still in your sovereignty, still in your integrity and impeccability, but with a kind of soft compassion for none of us know what's going to happen. We just don't. But wouldn't it be nice if we were able to grow into that space with kindness and trust? Yeah, great. Thanks, Anastasia. And community. I mean, we all may end up in tiny houses with Liz. Well, I don't know what's going to happen. We don't know. Stay open. Stay open. And at the same time, really embrace where you are and whatever is happening for you. Really appreciate it. And if you want to change it, change it. Change it. And ask. Ask inside. Ask for, I know, for goodness sake, I know you can call in the guardians. I mean, I've been with them my whole life. But call on anything you want. Liz, you're practicing calling on your avatar, yeah?
I did for a little bit. I find I change so much that I just kind of listen. I encountered a real solid, like a black box right in my heart. I just have to, my whole thing is to quit fighting. Like I have this, like there was this thing above my head, and I remember you saying that you just allow yourself to see if there's anything that can serve you, and then you allow the rest to leave. I think that that makes a lot more sense. So I'm just in a tough spot, and I just work through each little thing. I watched a really good film to make myself cry.
Which one?
Annette Bening and Jamie Bell. It was about Gloria Graham.
Oh, we love that movie.
Oh, my
Old
God.
stars, old film stars don't die in Liverpool. Woohoo!
You know, when they bring her down the stairs to fly with her son and she dies the next day,
Yeah.
that just opened the floodgates for me when, you know, I had to say goodbye to my sister. And just, it brought back a flush of memories, but I have a difficult time crying. And I really need to start understanding what this is. I don't know if it's an attachment or if it's just my own shielding and wounding, you know, but that is a major block for me so that I can be in relationship with myself and accept what's to come. So I'm just working on one little piece at a time and not making myself stick to any rules, but it's whatever intuitively I come upon, I will use. But I'm glad. I feel like I feel our community pull me in good ways or be present with me. And that's the whole point, isn't it? I mean, it's really beautiful. The more that we can do and be in community, the more we're going to pull the next person up. And we're a whole. It's really beautiful. So I'm trying not to take life so seriously because I tend to be very serious. It's funny.
I know. Like, there's no bigger Debbie Downer than somebody who's like deep all the time.
Well, some Scorpios can't help it, you know, and that's a real bummer. But I am realizing also these are like lifetimes of this, because sometimes I feel like such a deep well when like you've said some things and I feel like a deer in the headlights, like I'm guilty. And it's like, where is this coming from? And it just like, it goes so deep. Like, God, I'm not a bad person. You know, it's like, but why can't you like let go and lighten up? But anyway, it's about letting go.
It is about letting go, but we really do have to understand the depth and the power of those freaking snakes. We cannot discount this energy. You know, I was preparing for Jedi 2, and so I'm looking around, and, you know, you see these images of, and some of you I've sent links to Yellow Rose for Texas, right? Her videos, because I love Rose. And for some people, Rose is talking in code, and they just don't know what she's talking about, right? That's okay. So there's this one image that's very common around Sumerian where people will point out that there's 7 little balls that are supposed to be the Pleiades, and then there's the Tree of Life, and then there's some guy in a fish coat, and then there's another guy who Rose says is the one. And so I was looking back through these Sumerian images because I had a little bing, which is that the information, and you're going to love it because I'm making the videos. Anastasia, I took information from Peter Fraser's videos in Ness, and I combined them, intersected them with Ashayana Dean's videos to show that they're talking about the same thing. And the Guardians have been giving this information for thousands of years, and here's a modern day physicist describing the same stuff, and boom, I am putting those two things together. Okay, so we have this ability to recognize new things. And so I'm looking at the Sumerian image and I'm going, wait a minute. Yeah, that's the Tree of Life. But that spokey thing, that wheel of spokes, that's a specific part of the energetic anatomy that Dean has drawn pictures of. And it's on this friggin' Sumerian tablet. And then there were other things that I recognized, and I went, whoa, 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 whoa. One of them was $450 to download the image from Getty Images. $450. It is an image of one of those freaking little purses that those crazy Sumerian bird guys with the pine cones that are tweaking the genetics. The purse is covered with snakes. It's like people like what is in those purses? You never see that, right? Well, you go to Getty stock images and you can download this. If you've got $450 to spend, you could share this with your community. Here's what it is right here. And so I saw that and I was like, of course they were communicating with each other, that they took Source's gift of genetics, Source's structure of the tree of life, and they fucked with it. And it's in their pictographs, what they did. And they stated their intention. It's clear, and we just don't get it because it's, not in English. Wow, I gotta tell you. Right? I was just like, could I just point this one little thing out to you right here? See this spooky thing? Well, Peter Fraser, the physicist, is talking about the way protons and electrons and neutrons organize themselves, and so is Ascianidine, and so are the Guardians, and they're all talking about the same thing, and two of them have drawn it like this. I'm having so much fun, but it's been a crazy week. Because if we don't know this, if people don't know this and know it soon, what's going to happen to them? When the big ba-boom, what's going to happen to them? They're going to be clueless. They're not going to be prepared energetically. And they're going to be black hole bound. That's not fair. That's just not fair. When you've got this whole other thing going on that's really cool. That's just amazing. So, one little piece at a time.
Could that be a co-creative thing too for,
yeah,
to make it so that those people do have a clue?
Yes. Yeah, I just don't know how many people will come to Philadelphia because I'm not taking this show on the road. But I am putting the information together in a way that I think, well, Anastasia, you know how I do. It's the translation thing. I can take complicated stuff and just so I'm excited. I guess that'll be, I don't know, January, maybe the January-ish. We got global warming now, so the weather will be nice in Philadelphia. Okay. We can't be clueless. This is not a time to be clueless. Neither is it a time to be frightened. Okay. So, sovereignty, right? When you take the snake energy out of that template, then the sovereignty becomes you being the fulcrum of sovereignty in your own choice making, yeah? And the brutality is removed to become nurturing, nourishing, compassion for yourself, and just being nicer to you. And the sudden death transitions from being some brutal, horrible thing that somebody else does to you, that you've engaged in gentle letting go of things that your body field and your cells don't want to hang on to anymore. That's a nice transition. And this is why we do this template work, so we can recognize the thing that the snake wants us to have to suffer through. And then we recognize what source is offering. That's more of the real deal. It really looks like this. And they've distorted it so that you're suffering all the time when it's meant to be this.
Mm.
It's just meant to be this. Okay? I feel like the Mr. Rogers of 9D or something. I gotta get me some suspenders and a sweater, a cardigan,
Cardigan, yeah.
and a theme song. What's it? It's a beautiful day in the universe. A co-creating day in the multiverse. Would you be mine? Would you be mine? Won't you be my neighbor? I'm really. Yeah. Okay, I can't believe I recorded that. Oh well.
It was really good.
Okay, any last thoughts and things that you want to offer into the community so we can all feel like you're giving us a hug?
Well, that little song just felt like a hug.
Yeah, yeah.
Really did.
And the encouragement to just let it go. What needs to go? Just
Ease
that
up.
security of, the hug.
Yeah, there's so many wonderful surprises. Even tiny little ones. Like, Cynthia, I have this bird that when I'm sitting in the portal, the bird comes and sits in the tree. And
Yeah.
it sits there. I'm like, I could feel it today. I could hear the little rustling. And I said, it's you, isn't it? And I turned around and there was the bird sitting in the tree. And the other day I had a honeybee come and land on the bottle of essence of Divine Father. And then it flew all around and came up really close, like 5-6 inches from me all around. And then I had my coffee cup on my, and I was like, and it went into, I said, no, don't go into the cup. No, really, there's plenty of this energy right here. Don't go into the coffee cup. It was, it was like not super hot, but it was warm coffee because I was still drinking it. And then I go and cough for 30 minutes, being a dodo bird. And then so what happens? So the bee flies, drops down in the coffee. Guess what happens to the coffee? I dumped it out. Save the bee. That's going to extremes. I ought to be able to just stop myself from drinking this stuff. I don't need to kill bees to dump my coffee out so I can't drink it, right? It's that kind of stuff. I mean, really, this really does happen. Followed me into the house, the bee. I'm like, dude, what do you, as a girl, was a worker bee. It's like, honey, you can't, come on, go. So these life forms, we're going to take them with us. When we have the frequency and we interact, wherever we go, we're going to have the frequency of who and what they are, and we will bring everybody back together again.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. And thinking of it in a way like well, if there's a frequency we really can't bring with us, we let that go.
Right.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Right. So we're good. All right. Anybody else got anything else to say? You all look great.
I had 3 little yellow butterflies in my tiny house. They must be coming out of the bark and hatching in my house. Little sulfurs.
Nice.
Keep putting them out the door.
Nice. Really? Isn't that sweet? They're saying, like, I'm coming on your ark. Please take me on your ark.
Oh, and I had a ladybug come and nestle up against 1111.
Yep.
Yeah, I've been seeing the ladybugs too.
Me too. Right on
They know. They know. They know. It's a beautiful thing. All right, beloveds. Nice to see all of you. I'll send you the recording. And we have one more after this one. Just one more. And so what's going to happen is the 3D construct recorded material is going to go up on the membership site. And members, you're going to be so excited about what's coming your way for our holiday specials. You're just not going to believe it. And you two guys, you got to just email which essences you want for November. You're entitled to them. Maybe you want to double up on ones that you use all the time, or maybe you want to try some new ones. Up to you. But you're in it, so you might as well get your benefits, right? Jerry's looking at me like, what?
No, I got your email, and I thought, did I get this by mistake? Because I don't see where I've paid you.
Jerry, I keep getting Jerry paid 40, and I'm like, okay.
Okay, because I looked on my PayPal, see it, I couldn't find it. So I just wanted to make sure. Now, the other thing is I did go onto the website, and once again, I had a little bit of a problem trying to find where the essences are.
Just click on shop.
Well, I was wondering, could I possibly email you what I'm picking, and then you could let me know what to PayPal you for shipping?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Okay, I'll do that tomorrow.
Yes. So, the ones that you feel like what I can tell you which ones I'm using all the time now myself. I'm using Connect. I'm using 27.
Yeah.
God Love Transmute. Transmute. Receive. 43. And sometimes I will alternate between causal clear, depending on what's going on. And I like the one that's compassion, forgiveness, and grace, which is number 411. I'm using those like every night. And then sometimes because I don't want to use, if I use more than 5, I'm like, ooh. Like I just took some psilocybin or something. I'm like, whoa. So the other one I'll do, if I'm going to limit myself to 5, is I don't know. Well, Sacred Master Key, I put in my crown chakra. Oh, that's a good one. It's a very good one. Very good one. So up to you if you want it, but
Silver Violet Ray is good to have around.
Silver Violet Ray is very good to have around.
Yes, I have a couple of those from what I bought at the
Right.
shop, and then you had given me, you had given us 3.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I have another full bottle of Transmute that I really like. I used one whole bottle, and I have
Yeah,
another.
it goes fast, right? I've been using Transmute up quite a bit. But we'll
Yeah.
send you your 2 ones that you just get,
Okay.
and then you could give them away for the holidays.
You're not going to
Okay.
use
Use them yourself. Great stocking stuffers. Okay. If you're into stockings. All right. So, what else? That's it. I'm just trying to do what you're doing, Liz, one little step at a time. Yep. So tomorrow morning, I'm going to have English breakfast tea. I bought organic. I'm going to try English breakfast tea and see if I can just drink it without having, like this incredible, very uncomfortable reaction. I've validated that several times over now with coffee. I'm being ornery.
Irish breakfast is good too.
I love Irish breakfast. See? I'm talking about coffee. And Mike's like, don't even say the word. I'm like, oh my God, right? All right, guys, you're awesome. I love you. You're awesome.
You're awesome too.
Thank you. Okay, Hajimu, great to see you as always. Lift that rice, pal. Lift the rice. Okay. Conduct the orchestra. All right, people. You're awesome. Be well. Be amazed. Be loved. Till next time. Bye.
Bye.
Hey, Anais, I want to show you a drawing of something when you're.
Okay, well, show me now, and people can go. And good night.
I don't know if you'll be able to see it. The words are on there. Don't worry about the words, but just the drawing. Can you see it?
Yes.
It look like anything to you? Like.
It looks like an acorn.
Yeah, but it's not. It was more like a.
Well, what?
Like
Is
a not a. Because it had little scales on it. I don't know if you can see that.
I can see it, but what is it? Is it an ovary?
What's that?
Is it an ovary?
No, I don't think so. It like I saw it this morning, like coming down, and I was like, oh gosh, I don't like
Really?
that.
Let me see it again.
I was like thinking like you're.
Wow, how did it feel?
Well, I just I don't know. I thought of your death bloom or something, and just kind of obliterated it. I just didn't want it, like
The thing that they're going to do could be the virus, the retrovirus, maybe.
Okay, because when I saw it, I just was like, no.
Okay, well, totally, like, sure. There's a retrovirus that's going to come through, and I myself am feeling like Lyme disease is actually what that is.
Well, I know somebody with that, and it's pretty freaking intense.
Yeah.
And I love her so much, and yet I can't be close with her because it prevents just a relationship in a way, because I can't deal with some of the choices she makes around with her life or whatever. It's just like, whoa, it's too much. But I adore her. She's a sweetheart. So, yeah.
Well, they've definitely taken Lyme's disease to the level of miasm now,
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
like tuberculosis, you know?
Yeah, totally agree with that. And gosh, what else? Oh, it just made me think of something. Oh, wasn't that interesting about what Peter Fraser said about the virus, or I mean the antibiotics
And the
injected?
spider.
It
That's
totally
actually
like,
one of the clips that I pulled out as a clip and put it in with the material with Ashayanadine. Yeah, that
holy
was like,
moly.
because she's talking about the step downs that's from source, and here's how it gets done. And it's damaged in the earth template, it's damaged all the way back to the 12th dimension,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so
Yeah.
the spider getting an antibiotic and doing this crazy thing that should be looking like an electron is screwed up. And as he said, because maybe spiders have their brains in their nervous system, their spinal cords,
Okay.
which I thought was very insightful.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So I'm having a ball with this material.
It's incredible. Yeah. I have to stop and really focus on what we need next, and then, getting ready. So I won't probably, I will not make it through all of that stuff, but it's fascinating and I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah, I feel like, I just feel like I forged ahead a little bit because I needed to really feel solid in the choice.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed. That
And
was good.
so I do
Yeah.
feel solid in the choice. And there's
Yeah.
more to come. I mean, I just feel like there'll be some really interesting things that will develop from this. Yeah, that we
Yeah.
can do, that they're not doing.
For sure. I agree. It seems, wide open. And for the, you said more information for the slides from me.
Yeah, I just need you to, what name, what credentials you want after your name. If you want them to be able to contact you by phone, what phone number,
Okay.
your email, and then the website link if you're going to use Lemurian Healing Arts, right?
Or it can be also just my name, like it's
Okay.
myname.com.
Yeah, because it's got to be, people need to know who the hosts are.
Okay.
Who are these two people? And a
Okay.
little bit of a bio, a paragraph.
Oh, a bio. Okay, that's what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah, and today, I mean, for 6 months, I've been contacting that health club over there, here in Corvallis,
Yeah.
about their therapeutic pool, and they finally got a hold of me, and they called me in today, and they were like, "Oh, sorry, we we know you've been around for 6 months waiting for us to talk to you," and I just like, well, I wasn't going to give up until you gave me the word one way or another, and they are really interested and think what I want to do there is really cool, and they're like, they're going to work with me on it. So we have more negotiating to do and whatnot, but it's pretty cool. So it's a neat. Yeah. And then I took this and went and scammed Dr. Luke. So he's about to leave for Hawaii, but I was like, cool, at least I got him thinking about this stuff, and we can throw around some possibilities of working with the scanner together, and him.
Is he the naturopath?
Yeah, he's a naturopath.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the Deep Roots Family Medicine.
Nice.
Yeah, so I was like, well, there's a strategic move I can make with that. So.
Yeah, and definitely get in touch with your brother.
Yeah, I'm going to. I already did reach out to him. I just didn't hear back from him, so I'll have to do that again and see where he's at with my offer. So it's just like there's so many people to keep tabs on. It gets kind of crazy, but
Well,
have.
that's, yeah, I mean, it's so weird to go into grids and spreadsheets but they work.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, that's.
Yeah, they do work. And then you're tracking people, like if you do a spreadsheet for, just say, the 30 days of November,
Mm-hmm.
who did you talk to? Did you hear back from them? What's their contact information? And then you log what happens, and then you go into December and it's like, okay, these people now go over here. I'm communicating with them this much, and these people I got to go back because I didn't hear anything from them, like you did with the swim club.
Right. I've been having a list and dates, and sometimes writing things down for my brain works really good. I
Right.
think Mercury came up really high on my scan. Like, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, I knew I probably would because I have a lot in my mouth, and I'm like, sometimes I really wonder if that interferes with the like, in my brain, because something is. And so I'm like, that could be a huge one. I really need to get that out of my head at some point, and I have wanted to for years. But I really think that affects me. Well, it's a frequency, I guess, to deal with.
It is. It's a big deal. I was able to get mine out when we lived in Vermont because I had the healthcare coverage. I had dental coverage with my stinky part-time job. I had dental coverage.
Nice.
And I had like 6 fillings. So it wasn't a big deal.
Yeah. I don't know how many is in there, but I gotta get it out. My problem right now is really my healthcare is in Ashland, because I've been kind of bouncing between letting my kids there have it and us.
Right.
And so I'm like, oh God, do I have to drive down to Ashland to make sure they're covered, or
That's what, 4 hours?
It's about 3.5. Yeah, 4 depending, but yeah. So I'd have to set up dental down there, which is already kind of set up, and they're nice. I would just have to make that part of my trip to start.
That's a big deal. 4 hours.
Yeah, it is.
Half a day.
Yeah, it is. It really is. And Noah just has been keeping in touch, and he went and got himself signed back into school, and he's like, he seems to be doing great. He's really, it's been interesting.
Cool.
Yeah. He called me today and just wanted to chat and tell me what he's doing. And so there's been a shift. It's a really nice one.
Cool. Well, I ended up cleaning out the malforming, the leftover energy thing of there's 2 that I have to deal with. The miscarriage, not so bad, but I did have to deal with the abortion. Because with Max, it was an abortion and then a miscarriage before he got to be born.
Oh, okay. Wow.
And I've been asking for help in how to approach doing some transformative work with him indirectly, and just, like using the information with the guardians of working on my shield and his shield and going back and back and back and back and back through our distortions.
Oh.
So what was interesting was with the liver one and spleen came up for me on my screen, I wasn't feeling anything in that area.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, wait a minute. Why am I feeling this now? And then I realized it was because of the interaction between the scan and them and me and the body and I was just like, oh, well, why don't you take care of this now? So I haven't even gotten my infoceuticals yet. And I cleared it.
Oh, right. Yeah. I think some of it we can clear just like that. Yeah, I have a couple major ones that I probably need to deal with. and it all made perfect sense. So,
Did you have
and
more than a couple things? I just had 2 things.
oh, well, you're probably unusual. I had several things. Nothing on the first screen too much, really. There was small on the first screen, and then as it got into it more, I knew the heart would show up, and
Did
what
it
else?
show up as purple?
I think it did.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I knew it probably would, but it's not the heart, the physical heart. I think it was the other one, though. The other. There's 2 heart ones, and one I think it says LMP or something like that.
Yeah.
That one was the one. So it was more. It's more like, I think, energetic, actually.
Energetic, emotional, sure.
Energetic, emotional. So yeah, and then scanning David was interesting, and yeah, he got a couple that I found really interesting to look at. So, yeah, one of them I was around being in the emotional stuff or something, being attractive, not really feeling attractive. Yeah, and then I found that it was a kind of a hot button. I didn't know, and I kind of poked around on it, and he's just sort of won't have a conversation about it. Like, wow, who knew?
Well, I scanned Seth on election day.
Oh, okay.
Went out to lunch, and I said, hey, listen, come on, let me scan you, because this software, this system doesn't know anything about you. Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll give me context. It'll help me have a feeling of, is this bullshit or what, right? So he says, okay. So he comes. I haven't even put him in as a client, so he's sitting and waiting while I'm putting him in, and then we get it set up, and then I can scan him. And then the scan comes up, and we go through, and in so many of the major drivers, he's like, fine. And then we go into the environmental terrains.
Oh, yeah.
And this whole group of, first of all, in the first screen, it did show autoimmune.
Oh.
And I was like, yeah. He's like, oh. So they don't know anything about you, but this scan has picked up that you have an autoimmune situation.
Mm-hmm.
And then I looked deeper, liver, I looked deeper, and we looked into the environmental terrains. 4 major solvents, all purple.
Ooh, oh my goodness.
All
Can you imagine clearing the environment?
had a painting business when he was in college.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. I had a lot more. I had more solvents than David, because I've been around paint probably more.
And so when between seeing that and seeing the autoimmune, he was like, okay.
That's incredible. That's such useful information.
Right.
I was hiring pesticides, and I was like, of course I am, because I was raised by an exterminator.
Right.
That pesticides were all around me as a child.
Right.
David found out, and I've been telling him about gluten, and he was pagan. He was like full purple on the gluten. I was like, oh, dude, you're worse than me on the gluten. And I told him, only because I've been dealing with what my body needs around gluten. You haven't. So your body's saying, hey, you might want to look here.
Right.
Some of the issues going on. So
right.
That was really interesting.
I didn't have a lot going on. I went and looked back at it today, and I was like, not a lot going on here.
Yeah, amazing.
I was really happy about, because what they did present to me, I figured, if I start working on it, could be really good, right?
Yeah, totally. You'll probably do another scan while you're there, possibly.
Maybe.
Or they'll use the MyScan.
That would be interesting.
Yeah, that would be interesting. That's a different, that kind of reminds me of a Therify or something, because that's more of a technological healing thing.
Yeah, but that's the machinery that people who don't have the sensitivity that we have, where we can feel where energy's clogged and we can just clear it.
Right.
Right? And they're trying.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm the scanner.
I'm a scanner.
Scanner. Yeah. Yeah. And it's
Yeah,
funny.
I wouldn't have picked up solvents for Seth.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I would have figured that happened. I was thinking alcohol. But one of the solvents, when I read further about the detoxification process, is that will begin to affect the body like alcohol.
Oh, that's right. That's why so many painters are alcoholics. They're really genuinely, you can equate it with alcoholism.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just like, this is great.
Wow. It's cool.
It's very cool. So I don't know what we're going to do. We're going to go do it.
I know.
I'm coming back and I'm going to schedule appointments and network and try to get people to try this out. And we have, we'll have 2 weeks and we'll have a bunch more scan. Who else are you going to scan? Who else are you thinking about scanning?
Honestly, I would love to take it and scan my brother. But that's me having to get up to Seattle sometime, and who knows? Maybe I could do it quick enough.
Might be worth it.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how that's going to happen with November being so, money-wise. So.
Well, think about it this way. If you make the connection with your brother and he scans it and he gets what it is, and then maybe he will network with you and you can refer your ass into a $200 appointment before the end of November.
Yeah, I'd have to really have that well thought out. So that's what I'm kind of working on. That's why I went and scanned Luke, because I was like, if this dude gets on board, this is possible that I could do it right here at home. So
Luke who? The doctor?
Dr. Luke, yeah.
Hello, David.
Hi, Anaiis. How are you?
I'm scanned and I'm happy.
Excellent.
I'm still scanned and happy.
How are you?
Same.
Good. Yeah. Scanned and happy. Yeah.
But I'm not Scandinavian.
Right.
Not.
Scanned and happy and
Scanned and happy. Yeah, of course. I haven't tried it. I just was experimenting and still can't get it right. So I can't bake to save my life these days. I'm telling you, it's just ridiculous. That's because I'm trying to not use gluten and not use sugar.
not use sugar, not use chocolate. Like, what is that left to baking? There's nothing left. Milk.
I mean, I'm not having any problems with chocolate. I just sort of wanted to see, like, what happens if you don't. And in actuality, I have eaten a little bit of the sugar-free stuff. So that was a major thing to move off of, is back into my normal, like, no gluten, no sugar. So.
Yep. Well, today I had such a hacking fit after I drank the coffee.
Man.
It's just like, I'm not going through this tomorrow. I'm going to, you win. I'm going to do tea tomorrow.
I know. Yeah, I've done that compare and contrast, and I was like, yeah, you're way past that. That's not what you're doing now.
Right.
But somehow, and that's gluten. That would be gluten for me.
Yeah, it does really make you feel bad fast.
It does, and mostly it makes me look bad. I mean, I look really bad. Like I get inflammation is horrible.
Yeah,
inflammation, and then you got, like, all kinds of your host for all kinds of frequencies you don't want to be hosted.
Really.
Yeah,
for sure.
So
for sure.
Yeah.
Well, it's good to see you. I'm so excited. Elise is gonna cook food and bring it, so we don't have to spend money eating out, which I think is wonderful.
What a sweetheart. Okay.
Yeah. She's going through all kinds of changes.
I bet.
Oh
Whoa.
my God.
I've been thinking about her.
Oh my
Like,
God.
she's on the fast train. She's on the bullet train, right?
She is on the friggin' bullet train.
Taking 90-degree angles. That's pretty interesting. So,
And then she, we talk and she tells me all this stuff. And I'm like going, uh-huh, 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 uh-huh. Well, it's this, it's this, it's this. And how she goes,
man, it's got to be intense. Just moving that fast with it all. I get it though.
I mean, really, she's
Yeah.
doing great, but it's at that point, like when you're starting to get it, like you really see the patterns,
Yeah.
and you go, but, oh, wow, oh, wow, up, I got it, it's what I want, boom, sabotage, up,
Oh,
I want it, I got it, boom, sabotage, up, I want it, I got it, boom, sabotage. I said, are you done yet?
oh.
This is like in a span of 10 days. It's like, are you done yet?
Yeah. I mean, I totally, if we were looking at it from that angle of perception at the time, I probably would have been doing the same thing while I was with Nick and leaving that situation behind. I was definitely doing that. And I knew it too. I'd be like, blam, oh, no.
And I'm sitting on the phone going, honey, could you just stop?
Yeah. Totally. I can look back now and go, oh my gosh, yeah. What the?
Well, I mean, it's been interesting because you got to watch Chaley doing that with her boyfriend. Like she finally was just like, I can't.
Yeah, totally. I mean, she ended it the first time, it was very clear that needed to happen. And then things sort of were shifting and they were definitely better. And that went well for a while. And then she realized, yeah, it's not quite.
It's not going to work.
I'm already beyond this, and pretty cool.
Yeah, it's good to know, like when you can see it. Like I had this thing with Michael, and he's doing this and he's doing that, and he's trying to control it, and he's like making it. And I just said, hey, you know what, Michael? We're done. I asked you to help identify a good learning management system,
Mm-hmm.
and you did that. So we're done.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We're finished. I can, and I'm like, we're done. Just we're done. So, and then I just decided not to freak out about the fact that I'm going to have to do all that by myself, but whatever. It'll happen when it happens.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, so wish me luck getting through my one final exam tomorrow.
Oh, I doubt you'll need the luck, but you sure. Wish you luck.
Honey,
Is it
I
big?
can tell you at my age to be acing these exams first time out with 100 and 100 and 100 and 100, I'm like, you go, girl.
Yeah, right. I took the first one without really looking at the information. I just went, and I was like, and I just want to see. I should know this stuff, even if
You do.
Yeah, even if it's their language, I should still be able to know this stuff. So I just took it just to test my that, and I was like 100. I was like, mm-hmm. So it was cool. I was like, yeah, I better.
Yeah, this is going to be great for you.
Yeah, I am seriously loving it because I love the way Peter Fraser talks about stuff.
Isn't he adorable?
He is. He's so funny, and he's like the things we do for a living. So he's hilarious. I love it.
I hope he shows up at this gathering. I mean, he's he's so Pleiadian. But it, between him and Peter, like, oh man, right?
Yeah,
It's
seriously.
really cool. It's
Yeah.
really, really cool.
Yeah, I love it, and he's awesome.
Yeah, he's like truth, transparency, trust, authenticity, integrity. Like, here it is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's got a sense of humor with it. Too.
He's funny.
Yeah, it's surprising how funny he is.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty much like, this is gonna be okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Just looking at it all.
Right.
Wow.
Right. So Elise is gonna plow through the material, and I said to her today, I said, well, she's like, we have a house, and we have to get this fixed and that fixed. I said, Elise, you could spend your time worrying about getting some minor electrical problem fixed, which you don't really have the money to fix right now anyway, or you could study, you could pass these exams, and then when you come home from Florida, you could fucking book appointments. Now, like, which is it? Where are you putting your time and your energy? Like,
Exactly. It's like building this right now, because this is what is going to make that other thing happen.
You come away at the end of that weekend having passed all your exams. You are certified. They're going to start sending you referrals.
Yes, because you'll be on there. You'll be on all there.
You're in the directory.
Yeah, exactly. So it's pretty cool. I may not make it just to that, but I can get close.
It's a start.
Yeah, it's a start, and it's fun anyway. So just extra moment here, extra moment, 10 hours, 15 hours, whatever. I'll be able to get it in between.
Well, I'm going to be doing 195 an hour.
No, I mean just how many hours it takes to get that all that.
Took me about 10 days, doing about between an hour and a half to 2 hours a day.
Right. That's what I was thinking, somewhere in there. So.
Yeah, this morning I have one more. I may go watch that webinar tonight, because there's one more on the feel good infoceuticals, and it's an hour and 25-minute webinar.
Yeah. That's funny. That's mostly what I got was the feel good in my scan. I was mostly laid out for 5 of the feel good.
Man, none of those came up for me.
That's amazing. Yeah.
I was like waiting, and then I was thinking, but the other thing that made me really happy was there was nothing about the pancreas.
Oh, good. Yeah. Because that's a big deal, right? I think I did have some stuff on the pancreas, actually.
Because I'm really like it being intentional about the diabetes thing. It's like, I'm not owning that. I'm not having that. I'm not picking that up. I'm not keeping that. Like, bye. Right?
Yeah.
So
Totally.
that 3 years later, there's nothing there.
Good. Yeah. And I'm just like, I've definitely been feeling it, because I'm going off the wagon with wheat and some sugar, not extreme or anything, but still too much. And the carbs, mostly carbs, and not getting enough exercise. So
right.
Those are the high causes right there.
Yeah, for sure. I'm getting a little bit more exercise. I've been able to fit in about a 10-15-minute walk, like 4 days a week. And I'm trying to do that like this week every day, because I'm going to be running around in the frickin' airport.
Yeah, that's super good.
Well, where's my little weight? I got my weight buddy here.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw you were lifting.
Like Whoopi Goldberg in one of her funny movies. Yep, sure, right, okay, I'm laying down, I'm doing it.
Yeah, I mean, I lift plenty and I move plenty, but I still need to get some more intentional, because I get the massage. I do massage, and
It's very physical.
I gotta lift stuff and move my ass in a hurry sometimes, even if even being on time, I have to move pretty fast. So that helps, but I still need to get out and do some intentional walking, and that would be good.
Anyway, we'll get there, right? We'll get there. All right. So I'm like, am I gonna go watch a movie, or am I gonna watch that webinar? I don't know. but I am going to go pee. All right,
Okay.
I love
All right.
you.
I love you too.
Bye bye.
See you later.